Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hey friends, I am Neethi the Pharmacist, here with my co-hosts Janae Williams and Valerie Cruz, and we are on full. Welcome to Our View. Hi everyone. Hey everybody.
Hey everyone.
Hi.
Today, we're happy to have Leslie Woods, co-owner and head of operations at Raleigh Raw. This is a juice bar and cafe which empowers our community to eat to thrive. Shortly after Raleigh Raw was founded, Leslie Wood came on as a partner to build that vision out to scale. With a master's degree from NC State in Global Innovation Management, Leslie took on the massive task of developing the company's systems in order to manage day-to-day operations as well as new ventures. She now handles every aspect of the business's operations and the team rolling by overseeing all product development, sales, strategy, and marketing. Leslie's passionate about the business of Raleigh Raw, and equally dedicated to helping others to achieve their dreams and realize their potentials through entrepreneurship. So welcome to our show, Leslie.
Yay! Hi.
Thanks. Hi, guys.
So Leslie, we've been working together now for, how long has it been?
A long time.
No.
Like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, a long time. And I think it's been really fun to watch you guys grow, and you're growing and developing so many people in the community. It's a lot of fun to watch. So congratulations. You guys are doing a good job. I am curious to know, in the past you've shared your story, and you've always spoken about how Raleigh Raw was actually Sharif's vision. But, I think that in every very successful business, you have this visionary person, but then you have to have someone, they're like the kite that's in the air flying, and then you have to have someone holding them down and keeping it steady and, managing all the business aspects of it. And I've always seen you as this, like the big boulder holding him down so that he doesn't like fly off into space somewhere.
Yeah.
So, what keeps you motivated? I mean, we know he's like incredibly passionate about the juice, but what about you? Like because you're all in. I mean, we can see that.
Yeah, fully in. Let me begin by saying, hi, Valerie Cruz, face to face. You've been a customer of ours for so long, and I didn't realize that was you until I heard the announcement. So it's super nice to see you. Thanks.
Yes.
All right. So what keeps me going? I'll answer the first part of how did I kind of fall into it and what keeps me going? It was really a perfect kind of situation where I was just getting out of trying out corporate America for a year, and I was very, very unhappy there, and just was physically not able to hold my energy up and work through the day. And so after a year, I said, I can't work in this sort of corporate job anymore, and I don't know what I'll do, but it can't be in this sort of environment. So I left the corporate world and went back to bartending and managing restaurants on the weekends, and that's when Sharif and I met. And I was at this point in my life where I was 22 or 23, and I was like, I know my work ethic. I know that I can, if I just show up every day, I can make something happen. I can create some sort of business. And Sharif had just moved down from New York, and he was like, if you've met Sharif, he's so full of energy and he's so enthusiastic. And he was like, I really want to start a juice company, and here's why. And you don't have any healthy food down here. And so he was my introduction. I had always eaten healthy out of preference, but he was my introduction into this whole world of you can actually make vegetables and healthy foods taste amazing and have a good time with it. And so when we started together, I didn't ever intend on being his partner in the juice company. I was in between things. I had tried one company before that. It was like sort of an e-commerce North Carolina goods company. And I was in a transition point in my life. And every day we started living together because we were dating. And then every day I'd hear him say, like, hey, could you maybe help me set up the website? Or could you help me like file this tax code correctly? And then we ended up day after day after day, maybe like 6 months in, being like, oh, wow, I guess we're doing this together. And then, you know, it just was a perfect segue into it. And what kept me going in the early days when it was so hard, our first 3 years were just so hard of getting off the ground, was just the idea that we could and we were creating something, and that we would be able to have our ultimate goal, which was always our time freedom, our ability to to do our own work and be sustained by it. And we just had such little gains, and we had big setbacks, but things always presented themselves in a way that we were always able to move forward. And so it just felt like the right trajectory. And what keeps me going now is totally different. Now we're stable and we've got loyal customers, and we have a very specific product that we know how to make well. And what keeps me going now is just the fun of it, right? We've got a huge team. Like, I love the game of business. I love to look at numbers, and we now have the ability to like throw really fun events. We can throw our block party that's coming up in a month. We can have DJs in the cafe on Saturday. You know, I feel like we've just created this super special, unique cafe and community point, and the place that Raleigh's in right now is just so receptive of that, because we haven't had these big businesses move in yet. So it just keeps me going. It's so special. Like, whatever it was that we set out to do, I think has grown into something that is beyond Sharif and I. And so it's just now fun to see like what will happen next with it.
I find that amazing because I've attended one of your parties and it's so much fun. And I like the perspective you're giving us as an entrepreneur, as a young entrepreneur, because I think people look at our lifestyle and they think we're boring. They think we are weird,
cardboard.
right? Eating
Right.
cardboard or something. Yeah. And so
we have no joy.
So you bring a different perspective that I think people need to hear, so that they can understand that really we are normal. We do everything other people do,
Well,
or regular people do.
They just sit
it's
there.
just we're conscious about what we're putting in our bodies.
We're intentional. I mean, you created everything you did with great intention. And the reason Raleigh Raw is thriving is because you did it with intention. And you continue to do it with intention. And that's what we're always trying to teach everybody on the show, is that to have a regenerative lifestyle, or, you know, we want people to be more intentional with their choices, with where they're putting their money, with how they're, you know, because people are always saying, I'm sure you hear this a lot too, that, you know, we can't be really healthy like you know, because we can't afford to do it. We can't do this because it's too much work. It's too hard. You know, we can't do this because it's not going to taste great or feel good. I mean, they want to have some reason why they can't do it. And when you meet people who are doing it, I hope we're not looking miserable. I mean, I hope that we're all looking like we're having fun. I mean, you guys definitely, that's what I love. Like, every time you post something, all your marketing is so much fun. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you know, this regenerative lifestyle, I mean, we're not even more than a quarter of the 1%. You know, it's so minute. And, you know, people are, but when you guys say something or you do something, it's like, this is the rage. Where is everybody? What are y'all doing? Because this is it. This is where you're supposed to be. And so when you're marketing in that way and you know what the numbers are, you're a number cruncher, you know, then first of all, what were your, I mean, did you have like great concerns about making this venture profitable and sustainable, knowing all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like any small business will tell you, we survive by the grace of God and the universe and a lot of people along the way to help us. That's the truth. And so, yeah, there's always a concern of like, ooh, something might and could go wrong. But no, I'm a forever optimist, overly optimistic. I have a lot of belief in my skill set in business and Sharif's skill set in business. So we were just confident. We were confident in our ability to like persevere and just keep trying.
And I think it's important that you stated that you have loyal customers.
Mm-hmm.
I think what people need to understand is when an entrepreneur like yourself and Sharif come along with an idea that's going to help the community be healthy. We need to support you. We need to be there as a customer to make sure you can survive and thrive.
Well,
And
it should be an equal payout, right? Like I would not expect anyone's support. I look at it as more of an exchange. Like,
yes,
yeah, we need you guys to show up and exchange goods with us. And if that doesn't happen, that doesn't mean that we failed. It just means that we were not in a place or at a time where that exchange was possible. And I feel
and
like we
and if
have that
we're if
mentality.
we're and there's we're able to give feedback to you so that you can better make it possible for the exchange to happen. And
Absolutely.
even if it's a conversation and it's not an actual transaction, it's still beneficial.
Mm-hmm. And Nitty's been a huge guiding principle for us on that. I mean, she's the reason that we have a green juice with no sugar in it. And we pushed back so hard. And she just kept saying, like, trust me, there is a group of people who want this. And that's one of my favorite examples because now we have customers like yourself, Valerie, and just subscribers who understand what health is and aren't looking to just dabble in it. You're looking to like, yep, I know I'm going to have that every single week in my life. I'd love to have that delivered. Like that just makes me so happy to be able that we're small enough so that we can take feedback from the community and change things and give people what they want within reason.
I think that, I mean, everyone should know, like, I tried to talk to a lot of juice companies about, trying to create, to me, a lot of people ask me, Neethi, do you take vitamins? And I mean, yeah, you want to know what my vitamin is? I take a multivitamin every day and it's my ninth wonder.
Juice.
And that juice is my vitamin. And the thing about that versus taking something out of a bottle that people don't understand is that the pills are, enzymatically dead. They, and I don't know what human being has figured out exactly what your deficiencies are because I don't know. I'm not testing my blood, every 5 minutes or something. And our pH is changing like every time we take a step. So, if you actually understand the biology, I don't have time to figure out how many supplements or what supplements I need specifically. But I know that if I take a ninth wonder every day, then just the chlorophyll alone is providing me with more magnesium than I could ever get anywhere. And my body can like actually absorb it. It is chelating heavy metals out of my body that, and these are just things that I know that I'm aware of, but there's so many things that juice is doing for me that I couldn't possibly even know that we haven't maybe even completely discovered yet. Like people just figured antioxidants out a minute ago.
Yeah.
So,
And Janae, you're on the subscriber program too,
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm kind of off and on because I do juice, and you guys are the most awesome break from being in the kitchen every morning for like 20 to 30 minutes. So then when
Yeah.
I get tired of doing that, because I love the vibrant veggies that I get, from the CSA in my veggie box, and then when I get tired of that, then I'm like, Raleigh Raw, can you help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, I
years,
mean, I
it's the
think that's
best.
the fun is,
Mhm.
being able, I mean, everybody ebbs and flows with their moods. And
Yeah.
even we are going from minis to talls to, something, because sometimes also we're listening to our bodies in a different way. And sometimes I just need talls,
Yeah.
sometimes I need minis. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I didn't even need a green juice today for whatever reason. But
Right.
that's the self regulation that we're getting from the juices, which is how I'm spreading that message to the eaters. Why is Raleigh Raw imperative to all of us? Because we need supplementation at this time. People need it to, yes, there's, benefit in, doing a juice fast and, doing some cleanses and things of that nature, resetting the mind, helping whatever, doing whatever we have to do to strengthen our minds. Mm-hmm. But day to day, we don't need to be buying a multivitamin. We just need to be drinking a juice.
I mean, you can tell, by the result, by what your body does. So between supplements and juices, it's just hands down. You drink a juice, especially day one. There's certain days that are better than other days because there are detox days, right? Especially depending upon the toxicity of your lifestyle. But if someone wants to venture into this and they drink a juice compared to a supplement, oh my gosh, your energy is through the roof. Your mental clarity is amazing. I mean, you can't even figure it out why, but you don't have to. Your body is telling you it's a good thing.
Yeah. I say this almost every day that I'm so grateful that we own a healthy food company, because I don't love to slow down and like grab food and make food and eat every day, but I value health. And so the juices have just been a lifesaver. Like, can have 2 a day. That's breakfast, snack, lunch-ish. So nice.
So when you were scaling Raleigh Raw, then, there must have been, you even just said that there were many failed attempts, So before you were able to find a successful foothold in the marketplace. Can you tell us about some of that experience?
Yeah, so we just tried every which way that we could, and we'd go a little bit and pull back and go a little bit and pull back. So we began by making juice and selling it in coffee shops. Well, to our neighbors first, then to coffee shops. Then that was working until we had realization that you're not actually allowed to wholesale raw juice. So we had FDA come in and they embargoed that product from the coffee shops. So right after that, to be able to, save face and keep going, we created a website where we could do the e-commerce sales and delivery. And we did that for about a year. We're still doing that, but at the year point, we launched vending machines to get around the loophole of the FDA not being able to wholesaling raw juice. With the vending machine, so we could put it in coffee shops still, pay them for the square footage, which would be like a 2x2 plot. And then the customer they would put their payment information into our machine. We would vend them a juice from a refrigerated machine, and that's it. So the whole transaction was done in someone's space, but both as a company. And that was really neat. It was a difficult project to tackle. We had the vending machines wrapped, and we just, it just didn't economically make sense. If you lost one juice out of the machine, then you had to sell 3 to even break even there. And this was 2 or 3 years ago. Juicing was even less understood and less known about. So we just weren't moving enough volume to be able to keep going with that. So as soon as we decided that we wanted to do a physical space for the company, for the cafe, we sold off those vending machines. And before we opened the cafe, we had to sit down and we basically said, like, all right, we're doing X amount in revenue a year, which is enough to pay our staff to make the product and deliver the product, but it wasn't enough to pay us. We didn't pay ourselves for 3 years. And so we said, all right, either we just shut the company down at year 3 because we can't live off of it, or we double down and we open up this cafe. Super ballsy move. We decided, like, we can do it. Let's open up the cafe, because that was Sharif's ultimate vision. And we did it. And when we opened, we thought we were just going to be a juice bar, and we'd have like some grab and go, some salads and stuff. And the immediate feedback we got from the community was, this is great, but like, we're very hungry. We want food. This is like rabbit food-ish. So we had a chef on our team at the time, Jake Wood, and he had come from Cowfish, which is that really popular burger sushi place. And he was a sous chef there, so a very high position there. He came over and he was like, well, I know fish very well. That's a raw product. What if we did poke? Sharif and I, that was our first introduction to poke, which is traditionally a Hawaiian rice bowl with marinated fish and fruits and vegetables. So we tried that out, and we did it the original way for the first maybe 6 months, where we would actually marinate everything together overnight, and we'd serve it in these like little Tupperware kind of containers, because that's how it's served in Hawaii. And that did pretty well. It was well received. People liked it, but it was still a little out there, still a little weird, getting used to that. And we eventually moved on from that style to what we call now Poke 2.0, where we do totally naked fish, so it's not marinated at all.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to mask it. It's just the pure fish. And then we have all of the fruits and vegetables, but they're all freshly cut and put into different parts of the bowl. So nothing's pre-mixed or pre-marinated.
Yeah.
And that was Jake Wood's massive contribution to the company. Again, right place, right time, works out as it should. Had he not been on our team and we switched to poke, we just would not at all be where we are now. So
when you guys launched the Poke Bowl, Rohit and I were really excited. You know, on our honeymoon in Hawaii, then we were really like fortunate to have made friends with this sushi chef who in Maui was like just spoiling us because we were newlywed, and he said, come back every day at happy hour. And we would go back every day at happy hour. He would make us a different kind of Poke Bowl. And and he said, you know, he was teaching us how different fish are prepared different ways for poke. Some of the more like tougher cuts of fish, they take them and they make pastes out of them. And some of the other, you know, depending on the texture of the fish, they either dice it or they paste it or they do whatever. We got to try like so many species doing that. So when you guys launched the Poke Bowl, we were like, oh, is this like a new thing now in America? It's so funny because, you know, for us, we were so excited. We'd already been, you know, thrilled with that. So we were like, we got to get down there. I got down there to try one. I go, you're not supposed to have rice in it. Well, because when he prepared it for us, it only ever had like a bed of lettuce and and just the fish. And, you know, the fish was the star. So it wasn't like there was a lot of other stuff around it or anything. And so it was kind of neat and different, but it was pretty exciting. I remember thinking like, yay. And I'm also was very happy that you guys launched protein.
Yeah. Well, we had the butter always, but the protein was definitely something that people wanted. And when we built the cafe, we didn't think that we were going to do food, so we didn't have a hood system. And you have to have a grease hood trap and whole system if you're going to cook meat. So we couldn't we're limited still. We cannot do beef or chicken or any of those normalized meats. We can really only do the raw fish.
So what challenges, I mean, look, I've been trying to help supply restaurants. I mean, it's not like our main focus because coming from the regenerative side of farming, you can't really do that. For many reasons, cost is one of the biggest ones, okay?
Yeah.
But you also guys, for you guys to actually receive it is really difficult because the way that the regulations are with the health inspectors that are coming to check you guys out, like it's near impossible. But you guys really, really, what I love about working with you and Sharif is you try to go push everything to the limit. I mean, within the law, you know, and to try to maintain supporting local, because even for you to receive local produce that we haven't chlorinated is almost impossible. Can you speak on any of those challenges?
I don't do as much of the food sourcing as Sharif does. I know that when we first started launching the fish, we were getting things that were freshly caught in Southport, and the health inspector came in, and I mean, like, every, every time we post something on our Instagram, it seems like we take in the back of the house, the health department comes in almost every time. And so every time, so we posted something and they came in and they were like, you know, you don't have the legality to catch this because you don't have the papers. And like, you just have to have a trail of papers to show what the fish has eaten and what it's gone through in its lifespan, every time, every batch
and that's
of
supposed to be wild fish. Who's
Yeah.
following this wild fish around to know this? See, this is what I want
That's
the people
amazing.
to hear, Leslie.
Yes.
I want
Yeah.
the people to know how this regulation is incredibly insane, and it doesn't allow.
So it is insane, and it doesn't allow for a lot of flexibility. However, as a general rule, I don't think that it's the worst thing for them to say, like on a general level, you guys cannot catch fish out of this creek or whatever and serve it in your restaurant, right?
I mean,
like
that's like an extreme thing. Let's be honest, okay? Nobody who's catching fish in a creek, it can supply your restaurant anyway. So if you're working with anglers who have, I mean, I think that they should be responsibly sourced anglers, and I think that should probably be the extent of it. Like, you should have to, you know, those guys that are on the water risking their lives, part of like the Brunswick catch or something of that nature, those guys actually do have standards that they have to meet of sustainability, and they're following a lot of laws that, you know, North Carolina has pretty stringent laws, and America, generally speaking, has the most. We just talked to Lynn last week on one of the shows, and, you know, they have one of the most stringent laws in America does in overseeing the wild-caught seafood versus all the other seafood that is coming into the U.S. I mean, 98% of
it's
is
for money,
imported.
though. You know, it's for money and it's for
Right.
public safety, but it's really for money. It's to trace things back to its source, because when we started, we were working with local seafood, and I remember writing up on the board, it was like, whatever bluefin caught by like Captain Sea Rod on this boat. And now it's just like, we know that they come from the Nova Scotia Islands, you know, like way less detailed about how that fishy came in.
I just want people to know what you guys, as restaurant owners who want, as you know, as a food company owner who wants to provide the cleanest, you know, locally sourced whatever, what are your obstacles? People don't know that, you know, and I think it's important.
Fruits and vegetables, I feel like they're pretty lax on. They don't really judge us hard about where we're getting those things, because we have like legit farms around, and the health department actually doesn't care if your stuff is organic or not organic or loaded with pesticides. They don't care about that. They're not checking for those
You think
things.
how that USDA and FDA, like, they're just looking out for you, eaters. They're looking out for you.
But do they care about pasteurization?
Yeah. That's a huge part of our business. So that's the whole reason we had to do the vending machine thing, was for the non-wholesale law of pasteurization. And with our juice, like when we were just a juice company and we didn't have food at all, we were not regulated by Wake County. We were just regulated by the FDA, and they are very lax. Like, for a small scale operation that we are, they're really not, like, they don't care if you wear gloves. They don't care where you get your food from. They just like don't care about those things. They just wanted to see that, like, the vegetables, once you make them, you put them in an ice bath is what they're.
So wait a minute, Les. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So you don't have to wear gloves or anything, or they don't really care. Your hair could be falling into the food or whatever. But
no,
they want the fish to be from Nova Scotia.
So specific. They care about your hair. They care about like dangly jewelry, and yeah.
No, but I mean, you don't have to wear gloves. They don't care about a lot of things, but then they want you to import fish.
Different group. So when we were under the FDA only for juice, they weren't bad. When we opened the cafe, we're now under Wake County, and Wake County is the real stickler for this. And it's just, I don't know, honestly, Nitty, like, I don't really look into why they do or do not want things. I just learn their rules and I play by them. And like, I know that Sharif can give you a much different perspective on this, because he is more of like the food source. He's passionate about the food. He's that's him.
And then me and him get along on this part of it because we're both so like.
And to me, I'm like, God, just get out of my way. Give me the rule list. I'll follow it. Check. You know, I'm just Sharif's.
You're the grounder.
Yeah.
You're the grounder. I mean, it's important. Like you have to have the grounder, but you know, and so we love you, Leslie. Because you know,
I like the part that you did make a regenerative business work. We also spoke with Mark from Fat Radish Farms, and in his episode, he stipulated how if you're getting into the food industry, there's a market for that. There is money in that, and you've proven that, and that's kind of what we wanted people to understand is that not only can you be healthy and disease free and you know, better for the environment, you can also have a business, and you can also be an entrepreneur and be successful at it, and there's market out there for it. Everything does not have to be big business and centralized companies.
Right.
And
We would much more happily support you guys every day of the week versus any corporation, and know that you, even though it's a struggle, okay, and I'm not trying to put a target on your back or anything, obviously, you know, we don't want anything to happen to Raleigh Raw, but I love that you guys try to help push the envelope, because the regenerative piece can't happen within the laws the way they have them set currently.
Right.
And so you're as clean as you can be within that parameter, and then you have to follow the law after that. And so that's the moment where we're telling everybody, okay, we know we can get the juices clean. That's just obviously under the FDA, who doesn't care so much if you wear gloves, versus the actual everything else in terms of, see, they do this with the meat and everything. They don't let you get the cleanest piece of that, which is obviously why you guys are leaning on the vegetables and the fruits, which is great too, you know. But I want the listeners to know why you're structured the way you are. It's because you and Sharif are conscious of this, and you know what you can do and what you can't do. And if you can't do it the way that you want, in the cleanest way that's possible, then you're going to lean on the stuff that you can, which is the juice.
Yeah, exactly.
And sorry.
I want to close the loop also on that pasteurization question, because our listeners, many of them are scared when they don't see that it's pasteurized, because they've been convinced that it has to be just dead, everything dead, sterile, you know, bottle of nothingness.
And what surprises me the most is that, like, people do not equate pasteurization with deadness. It's not a thing. They go pasteurization safe.
Yeah, it's got a scientist's name on it.
Dead.
You know, it's
people
so dead.
Think and aren't you very scientific? Leslie is one of the people who I believe from many conversations that you want the science behind a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're the kind of person who wants all that, even when I'm like saying, you know, life-giving force, it's self-regulating. We don't need to know all the science. We don't know all the science. There isn't anybody studying all that science. I mean, yes, a portion of it has been studied, but no one's actually being paid money to do that. And so it's not happening, right?
Yeah, and I think for the people who are nervous about when they see something and it's unpasteurized, like if you're pregnant, separate conversation. But if it's just you and you're thinking about getting something that's unpasteurized and you're nervous about it, it is just much, I mean, there's no danger in it, right? Like if you're in your own country, you are used to the bacteria in your own environment, there is no danger in getting something unpasteurized. The biggest thing that's going to happen is you're going to feel it actually in your body versus just consuming it for nothing, you know? Like,
so as a mother of 3 children and all the pregnancies I've been through and the drama that we've been through, and I've lost a child and all of my experiences, Leslie's not going to be able to say this because she's got laws that she's got to speak within, and I don't, because I have my food church. And so I'm here to say that if you're pregnant and you think that you should give your child dead food and dead, whatever that you're carrying, that's insane, okay? So I'm sorry, Les, I'm not trying to put a target on your back either by saying this, but the truth is that life-giving force is not going to come. You can't nourish a baby that you're carrying or anything if you don't have life-giving force. This fear is a lie. It's incorrect, and And I will speak out on it because, you know, when I was pregnant, I was eating all the green things. I think it's the only thing that gave my children a leg up, honestly.
Mm.
And I think they wouldn't have had any benefit if I didn't. And I did make a lot of mistakes, and I did believe all the lies because I was following all the rule books written by all the doctors. And I was doing every single thing that they said except breaking the rule of eating the raw fish and the green juice because that was never made sense to me. Like, how can I have vegetables and it's going to hurt my baby? That's ridiculous. So, you know, I think that was the only thing good I did, but I followed all their rule books and they killed one of my kids. So, I mean, that obviously didn't work. I will say, if you're pregnant and you're not drinking green juice because you're worried about the beneficial bacteria or the enzymatically alive aspect of it, then trust me, you're going to be diabetic when you're having all the dead juices because now you're just only drinking straight up sugar, and that is incorrect. So at that moment, just drink water.
Right.
I mean,
you might as
know,
well.
don't waste your money.
Why put your body through all the extra excretion of all the dead stuff? Just
I'm saying, like, why, and it still confuses me. Like, why do people put things in their body that their body doesn't need? Like, that concept to me is so foreign.
They don't know, Les.
When I get pregnant, I will eat all of the green juice and raw fish and whatever it is, whatever my body wants, I'll give it. But yeah, you're right. I have been conditioned to say, if you're pregnant, consult your doctor.
Don't get in trouble, Leslie. We don't want you to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Can you?
We want to protect Raleigh Raw that way.
Can you give us an idea, Leslie, of when we say the ninth wonder or green juice? Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so the ninth wonder is a juice that has 0 sugars in it other than lemon, which, Nitty, correct me if I'm wrong, does not spike your glycemic index.
No.
So you've got kale, parsley, which parsley is the
heavy metal chelator. Parsley is the heavy metal chelator. It's also adding the zesty, you know,
flavor
to make it taste amazing with the ginger. Which is
lemon,
a diuretic. It's amazing.
Celery.
Ginger is life.
Celery is like a chelator. It is a diuretic. It is a flavor enhancer. It is a superfood.
Yep. And what I will say about our juices too is, and one reason why Sharif and I have been so successful is because he is like next level smart at blending fruits and vegetables together for taste. Like, you guys all have that ninth wonder. It's just
delicious,
perfect. Like,
so good.
Especially if it's cold, you can just drink it straight away and it's done. Yeah,
it's super refreshing. It is massively cleansing. It is, you know, it's everything that's in it has been strategically placed in it. Not just, you know, I gave Sharif my dream list of medicinal things that I wanted in it, and then he did his mixologist magic and made it taste, you know, good. So that's that's the relationship, is that he's the mixologist. He knows how to make it. And then I think Leslie is the brander. She puts like the cool, fun names on everything.
Ninth Wonder.
Nice. I love it.
Cool.
Tell them about the Ninth Wonder. It's a DJ, right?
Girl, it's Ninth, a local producer. He's done incredible work for the hip hop movement over the years, and he still resides here in Raleigh. And so all of the juices are named after some sort of hip hop culture. I actually have only named one juice. I named the Regulator, Warren G. Regulator.
Oh, that's great.
That's right.
Which shard regulates your blood sugar. But they all have double entendres. Like Questlove is a drummer for the Roots, and the Questlove has all roots. So it has the ginger and the turmeric and the carrot. So they're all really fun. I really only named the one though. My job, once Sharif comes up with the juice and then he comes up with a name, I do all of like the back end design and most importantly the costing of it to make sure that like it's in line with our financial structure. And then we launch it. And you had asked me earlier who does our marketing. So if it's a promotion or a campaign, something like the 21-day juice jumpstart or cleanse month, I create all of those. But in general, the platform, like the social media, that is all, it's sort of a collaboration at this point, but it's mostly Sharif's vision for what the community should be, right? So Raleigh Raw is not just a pokey shop or a juice shop or a smoothie shop. It's a community meetup point. We're a connection point. And so our Instagram reflects that, where it's a lot of people and it's a lot of emotion and it's a lot of fun. And
Because you're alive, right?
yeah. And I find that that's so important for people. Like, I think that that's what will sustain us over the years. Is not like, the numbers are really, really important, but the main soul behind the business is what I think will keep us around for a while, because we'll be able to transition and move and continue to serve the community that we've created, instead of just serve a product and get people to come in and get it.
It's that authentic relationship that you guys have created. I think that is what we feel is the most hip, fun aspect of the marketing, and the most exciting piece of it. I mean, along with music. I mean, you guys incorporate the music in every time we watch the promotions, and my kids are down with it. Like, everybody's like so like excited with it, you know. So you know,
keep up
That's
the
awesome.
good work.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing we promote, is not only that food is the gateway, right? But you have to have a good mindset. And I think a lot of what you do is promote that good mindset. You relate it to music, you relate it to fun, you bring in events.
The joy.
It's really a good thing.
You guys bring a lot of youthfulness to it. And I must say, you know I'm transitioning into a whole nother era of having this 14-year-old that reminds me that I'm not hip. And I did not put it all together with the names, but I have had all your juices, because I've had the detox box, which, by the way, everybody, they deliver, just so you know that, which is pretty awesome.
That's right.
I love that aspect. But you guys bring such an awesome youthfulness to it and an energy to it, and I love that about what you do.
Thanks. Yeah, the Cole World that I'm sure you've had in your detox box. J. Cole the rapper, also Fayetteville local home rapper, and then activated charcoal. So that's the Cole World.
Nice.
Which has like so much great medicine, guys. You know, I am not really in support of too much fructose, but there's no juice that you guys make that I vilify, by the way. You know, and I tell everybody too that, you know, I'm not for doing those juices every single day, but when we come down there, I mean, even my kids know, like, everything's free for all. Whatever, if it's in Raleigh Raw, they can eat it.
Right.
That's awesome. I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, I mean, and they love to come there. I mean, by the way, for all the people who think that your kids don't like juice, I mean, and it doesn't have to always be fruit juice. Why don't you let your kids pick and do the rainbow?
Nothing makes me happier than seeing kids drink juice. Like, I like well up with tears every time I see little kids with smoothies and juice. I'm like, you're a good parent. You're a good parent.
Well, our kids take their green juice every day to school, and they turned a bunch of the teachers on. And what was interesting is now those teachers stop by Raleigh Raw, apparently, because I don't know if they're subscribing or not or what, but I know that they bring juices in just to show my kids that, look, I'm doing what you're doing, you know, and I think that's interesting that they go out of the way to do that.
Yeah,
so
my daughter did the same thing. She cleared her complexion with your juice as a part of that regimen for a while. She went on her own detox when she realized
she's
that
14, by the way.
yeah, she's 14, making these decisions. And so, you know, she was really hesitant because she thought, I'm going to look so uncool. Like, I don't really know. And then when she got the pressure, she went into or dabbled into modeling a year ago, and they told her what I have been telling her for years. You know, you really need to clean it up. And I had already cleaned it up, but she was outside recruiting toxin, which wasn't in the house. So when they said that, she went to juice, cleared her skin, and now her friends want it. They see her bringing it.
She sets an example. Like, now she's the standard, and she's found power in that, right?
She sure has.
So I think that was the interesting thing. We were comparing notes. All of us have a 14-year-old now. Somehow we all.
I know, that's funny.
Isn't that? It's the one common denominator between the three of us. And what's interesting is all of our children, I think, had to struggle with managing themselves within the community as teenagers, you know, and they've all, because we're doing this show, I think too, it empowers them to be greater leaders, because they're like, well, our moms are doing the show, and you know, I think that's pretty interesting. Plus, they can talk about how cool you guys are. I mean,
Yeah.
I know my children, for them, they're like, Sharif is my friend. Leslie's
Yeah.
my, and they feel empowered by knowing, they own Raleigh Raw and you
Well,
should.
and for you guys too, like you're setting your kids up to be leaders in their communities. Like when I grew up, I didn't get that example of like take healthy food to school. I was in the system, right? I had the Lunchables, I had like the Stouffer's lasagnas for
Yeah.
dinners. And I definitely remember the kids around me who ate really clean. My best friend was a vegetarian, and dinners at her house were just like, this is so strange. Like, I'm not used to this. But we like it, right? We like what we don't know. And I think it's awesome that you guys have sent your kids off and set them up with that sort of knowledge about being intentional.
Thank you. Thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So Leslie, what excites you now that you're here? You've had some time to kind of go through and discover what works and survey your customers. What are you excited about for the future?
I am so excited about just watching this trajectory that we're on unfold. We're in a space now where our whole team that is with us is more engaged than they've ever been. We've got a handful, maybe 5 to 7 people who are really wanting to take on more responsibility in the company. People are wanting to take over marketing, help me with operations. And so it's just, I think what I'm most excited about is just to like settle into this, settle into like not a slower pace of life, but like something we can have fun with. Like we are just at this kind of pinnacle moment where we can play and create as a group, and that's really, really fun. I have other projects that I'll start working on as the workload gets less for Raleigh Raw. But I think that with our time over the next few years, it's just to develop it into what it already is, just more so.
Nice.
So I think that that's wonderful because that means you're going into a more teaching role, and you guys are so good at that. So I'm hoping that would be something I would love to see you guys do more actively. It would be really cool, Les, if you could come up with a nice way for us to be able to do like open panel discussions about things live, like in some fun way, in the community. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see what you would come up with.
Yeah, and Sharif is moving more in that direction too. He's wanting to speak more and do more videos, and he's just finally got the time and the space to be able to blossom in that area. I like that you said that, Nifty, moving into a teaching role.
Okay, so I still want to know and I don't know, did I ask you this yet? But so we are watching the browning of the earth. We're talking about that every episode. We want to bring everyone back to that moment where, one thing that you guys do is create this youthfulness, this, keeping everything light. I love the way that, there's no reason for people to be fighting and arguing, where I feel like food has become so, the conversation becomes so volatile these days. And, part of it is this fear mongering that's happening because the conventional centralized food system is actually collapsing. And so, they're trying to fearmonger people into believing that we're not going to have enough food. I mean, the conversations are real, so it's not like a conspiracy theory, in terms of, they're saying that we're going to have too many people, we won't have enough food. When the truth is that if you were sitting on the moon watching the earth for the past, 100 years or so, then the globe is browning. It doesn't look as bright green and blue as it did before. Considering that you're not the visionary, you're the business person, are you able to see this in your periphery? The collapse. Are you feeling it, or not? I mean, I'm interested. I'm just curious to know.
Yeah. Do I feel it as pressure on our business? No, I don't think that we're a large scale industry that's heavily affected by it. We are affected by it, obviously. But no, I'm not feeling it in a sense of feeling pressure. Do I see it as an individual? I do. I do my part to, make my choices of getting local eggs from my neighbor and, not supporting the industrial system for, meats coming from out of grocery market stores. But Nitty, I'll be honest, like my view is so kind of down into what I can control and to what I see on a regular basis. It's not something that I'm deeply passionate about or highly knowledgeable on.
But I think that you are, and you don't even realize
right.
it. You know what? What you're doing, the reason it's not affecting you, which was kind of my point, is because you are a solution. And it is possible on your local level, which is what we're encouraging everybody to do, is to seek, their juice companies locally. They're anybody who's, all the local heroes. I mean, you're a local hero. You don't even realize this.
That's
That
right.
because you're doing this work, which is very, very important, you're not really being affected by that because what we're saying is true.
Yes.
And what we're saying is that if you're supporting local and you're managing things on a local, you're even running a business and you don't see it affecting your business at all because it's regenerative. That's why.
And I can tell you, as a consumer, a regenerative consumer, you even mentioned it too, you know me by name. We finally get to meet face to face. And I am so happy that you took your expertise in business and, combined it with a vision and made it work so that I can be able to get what I need as as Neethi said, what I use as a multivitamin. My daughter, myself, we use your juice as a multivitamin. So
it's not about
we are so
Flintstones
grateful
anymore.
For that. That's right. That's right.
But you know what, Leslie? The other thing that you don't realize is that I tell everybody all the time that they're like, why should we trust you? Why should anybody listen to you or whatever? And I'm like, okay, you don't have to. I said, but when people are doing these food recalls, if you're getting something from me, you never have to worry about it. Well, what about like the juice company? What about blah, blah, blah? I mean, the thing is that now everybody can know for sure because you just proved it in this episode that I have relationships with people who know that I'm nourishing people who are conscious of these things. And you even know their names, even if you don't know their faces, and you just proved all that. And because you know that I'm doing that we're working together, and we've established this relationship, and which everybody doesn't have the time to make that relationship with all of the farms or all of my producers or all of my artisans. They should be able to firmly believe that you do actually have a relationship with my members in some way, and there is an onus that you take in the product that you produce before you send it to me that, I mean, I can't express, to everyone more, as powerfully as I would like to, that, you're not going to send me garbage because you know that I'm nourishing someone's child. I'm nourishing my children or whatever. I mean, we have a personal bond and a relationship, and you feel responsible. And if something ever happened to anybody who I was nourishing or that, just within my family, that it would impact your entire team. And so
we're so happy that the company is where it is, and we're not thinking like, let's franchise it out to 1 million places and let's grow really, really large, because we have this really special thing that's totally undervalued, which is a true connection with your community members. And like, why should they trust you? Because you're looking out for their greater good, because you are a good person and that's easily readable, and you're going to surround yourself with good people.
It's a light.
And we're happy you're a part of that. That's
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're showcasing you. You're a superhero.
Absolutely.
You don't even know it. And like she just said a minute ago, well, I don't know about if I'm really, but you are such a huge part of it. You have no idea.
You're a light. I mean, we're drawn to that. There's not a lot of places. It's like what is it called? An oasis.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you're not an illusion. It's not, you're like legit for real.
Yeah.
We need it.
You're real, and now everybody can see it.
The best.
I mean, I'm hoping that people that are watching can really understand that there is a difference here, because sometimes I think people think a juice company is a juice company is a juice company. You just go to one and you get some juice, you go to another and get some juice. But this is part of what sets it apart. Is there anything else that when it comes to what sets you guys apart from other juice companies that you could share with our viewers.
I'll tell you one. They want to
Yeah.
teach. Leslie wants to teach and develop and grow other juice companies and not be threatened by them. I've seen that
Nice.
happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. We are approaching this whole company very different than I would approach any other business ever. To me, like I said earlier, I love the game of business. I love the idea of starting companies and rolling them out and doing that over and over. We don't approach Raleigh Raw as that. It is our kind of like creation. It's our child that we've created, and it's taken on a life of its own with the community, and that just can't be replicated. And it's an intangible. There's not anything. We have a superior product. We make sure that we build up our team members so that they'll invest back into us. We have good values. We have really strong values, but I think that the number one thing that sets us apart is we're just here to be a part of the present moment and of the present community and just be a part of it.
I love that. I love that because it's amazing how this show is taking on a kind of a theme of its own. And the theme is, normal, regular people, young, old,
Ordinary.
family,
Yeah.
couples, single. It doesn't matter. It's people who care enough to take a vision and grow it to the community and make it so that it's regenerative, it's sustainable, and it's something that is personal. It's something with integrity, and it's something that also can make money.
Yeah.
So it's really the whole package, and it's fun, and we're just amazed. I am every time someone comes on this show, because the testimony on this show is constant, and it has the same theme. It has the same light and energy as Janae likes to say, and it also is something where it brings not only the community together, but it's an outpouring that can grow to other communities and other aspects of the world, really.
Yeah.
So we're coming on to the hour, Leslie. I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys are super busy and Saturdays are really tough. And I appreciate so much the time that you've taken to be on the show with us. And, and I wanted to thank you for being a superhero. Like we're telling everybody, it's going to take ordinary people for us to regreen the earth. And everyone needs to support that. And your business isn't repeatable.
That's
but
right.
The integrity that you are, spreading, the example of the integrity that you are putting into this business is what other businesses should try to find repeatable. The integrity for the food, the integrity for the business aspect. And you are an intelligent, educated business person. Everyone thinks that anyone who's doing this is some kind of hippie, smelly, whatever person, and not someone who's educated and polished, and you've just completely defied that. And so is Sharif, and that is the point. That's what we want to show people. And it has to be on a small scale. And nobody can be Leslie and Sharif and Raleigh Raw. But, so you can't like franchise that. That's crazy. But the integrity, the lessons, the business coaching, the coaching on how to repeat, the thought, they can only try to teach and show people how you can maintain and what sacrifices have you had to make to maintain that integrity. You didn't earn money for 3 years. That's huge. Who does that in business, really?
But really, that's normal. In entrepreneurship, that is normal. You're not going to make millions of dollars year one, year two. It just doesn't happen. And any entrepreneur would tell you that. What I like to say is that to be an entrepreneur, you don't have to sacrifice your soul. And you guys did not sacrifice your soul.
Thank you.
Right. It's the opposite. It's like you get to keep it. In entrepreneurship, you keep it.
You get to keep it and have your juice too. See?
That's right. So thank you so much. You are so awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Leslie.
For folks who don't know, Raleigh Raw is in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina, and I hope that we've just made it a destination point.
That's right.
And I hope everyone will come and try to take a moment and go say hi to Leslie and Sharif downtown. And Leslie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'd say that our block party is April 21st. We'll shut the whole block down. We'll have different activities like basketball and a kids area. Marbles Kids Museum will be out there doing some fun kid stuff. We'll have athletic heat gym will be downtown, and we'll have all of our food and all of our juices. And it's our one big event every year where it's our healthy community block party. So if you're around in downtown Raleigh, definitely come. It'll be a great time.
Yay.
Great.
And come every spring if you want. Check out the calendar, yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice to see you, ladies. Thank you so much. I
Bye.
appreciate it.
Hey friends, we hope that this production has served you in some way today. If you would like to hear more shows like this, please help us grow our army of Minas by visiting our website and making a donation today. We are a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and I ask that you please like and share this video, follow us on Facebook, become involved with us on Instagram and Twitter, and all of our links can be found in the show notes. Thank you.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.